becoming a father is it's just given me a whole new motivation at the moment to really push forward in the sport. You know, part of me knows that I have to do this, not doing it just for me anymore, I'm doing it for my family too. And if I could succeed in the sport, then I'm also helping my family out. So that's really instilled a new motivation in me. You know, I've learned over the years to not really take anything for granted. Whereas when I was younger, it was probably easy to sort of, let opportunities slip by. But as I've aged and as I've, got more experience, you know, I've sort of learnt that sport is such a finite period of your life, and you really got to make the most of each and every opportunity. All sport teaches you a lot of things. The usual things like your hard work, your discipline, but also in our sport, there's a hell of a lot of courage. Sometimes the middle course can be pretty daunting, it can be steep, it can be icy. In some cases, it can be a little bit scary. So I guess you have to have a screw or two loose to, take that step and really attack each day and each competition. I'd say generally I'm quite conservative in life. The risks we do out in the snow, they're very calculated. I mean, we do a lot of practice, you know, from general acrobatic training on trampoline and in a gymnastics hall to trying tricks for the first time on water to then take you to snow. It's sort of the risks we take are all very calculated. Like when I'm at the top of the gate, there's not really too much fear going through my mind. You know, I'm more or less just focusing on the course in front of me and what I need to do to execute my run as best I can. Fear can sometimes really creep in and around or after a big crash. Sometimes, you know, you'll have a big crash and a big stumble when you got to get back up and, you know, go and right your wrong and learn from that mistake. I've just developed a bit of a way to sort of just push past those things and just really just know that I'll be fine. And I just got to, if I attack a course and I'm hesitant or conservative, then I'm at more risk than if I more or less just sort of attack it. To be honest, I honestly believe I've been fortunate in the injuries I've had. The main thing obviously for me was breaking my collarbone sort of 7 weeks out from the last Olympics, which was more just unfortunate than anything. Generally speaking, a broken collarbone's an easy injury to come back from. But unfortunately mine was a little bit more complicated. I had some issues with the bone healing and consequently had to undergo 4 completely separate surgeries, which prolonged the injury over a 2-year sort of period. The self-belief that I have in myself has just been in there as a kid. I wouldn't say I was an outgoing, confident person growing up, but when it came to my sporting abilities, I had 100% confidence in myself. You know, whether it was snow skiing or sailing, I was very competitive and I just didn't want to come second, to be honest. I wanted to win everything. When I was young, I didn't have much control over it. I remember coming more so in sailing than skiing. When I would come second in a race, I'd be absolutely gutted and I'd be hating myself for it. So learning to lose as I got older, and in skiing was something I sort of had to comprehend and understand, and more or less take focus away from the results and focus more on the performance. And then I sort of was able to, find more satisfaction in just the execution of a really good run or a really good performance rather than the result. So much more driving me than what happened nearly 8 years ago. That's almost a distant memory now, the Olympic silver medal, but at some occasion I'll actually go back to it. It literally lives in my mum and dad's pool room, so it's pretty cool to go back and open up a little box and have a look at it every now and then. And I know I've got the capacity to really compete well and push the top guys come Milano-Cortina. But yeah, it's more or less I'm getting to it. What motivates me now is probably the fact that I'm getting towards the end of my career, and I know I've only got so many more days training and so many competitions left in me, so I've got to make the most of each opportunity. Probably the hardest question I asked myself was after last Olympics. I sort of questioned whether I was going to keep going or not, whether I was going to hang up the boots or continue on skiing. At the time I was pretty heartbroken by my performance and the way that all unfolded. Obviously the lead up didn't help, but less than 2 weeks before the games I was sitting on the couch with a massive hematoma over my collarbone, and meanwhile the rest of the field was away sort of getting better and competing and gearing up for the games. There was a really bad COVID outbreak in Sydney at the time. It was sort of running rampant, and obviously to get to the Olympics you had to return all these negative COVID tests. So me and my family, my mum and dad, were pretty much on house arrest at that point in time. I was either at home on the Central Coast bunkered down, or I'd go to the gym at NSWIS at odd times when no one was in the gym because we didn't want to have any sort of cross-contamination with, I guess, the general public. But when I was in Beijing, I still believed that I was there to compete, and I was able to win the medal. I mean, I was a reigning silver medalist from the World Championships the year prior, and I was the reigning World Cup champion. So I believed I was able to win the event on my day. And I wanted to make that Cinderella story come true, but obviously it wasn't to be. There was some time reflecting after those games. Probably one of the hardest periods of my life, just because it was a big turning point. At the time, I guess, I don't know, maybe I'd fallen out of love with the sport just because of that whole experience. We changed a few things with the team around me and the support network around me, and found the love back pretty quickly, and yes, haven't looked back since. I mean, I'd like to know that there's, I've at least inspired some kids to really go after their passion and their sport. I understand that I was a kid once who looked up to the best guys in sport at the time, particularly in Australia, and getting to know them and I guess more or less chasing them down is what drove me as a kid. And I think just knowing that I came from, I'm no different to any other kid out there really. You can really, I guess you can, if you really put your mind to it and you work really hard at something you're passionate about and that you really enjoy, then you're going to give yourself the best chance to really succeed.